Welcome to Tamer Bowling Video Ball Reviews.
We need your support, so if you like what we do, please support us by joining our Patreon page. Don't forget to visit pureitbowling.com for all your bowling needs.
Today we're testing the new Roto Grip Halo Pearl on a 40-foot medium high volume house shot and a 39-foot PBA Bear pattern. First impressions, we were expecting to really like the Halo Pearl, and in the end, that's pretty much what happened. For value, we gave the Halo Pearl a B+. Yeah, another Pearl ASIM getting a pretty high score. Nothing new here, and the Halo Pearl keeps the trend. Overall, we gave it a B+ on house shot, B+ on sport shot. This was an expected iteration, putting a Pearl cover on the big core in the Roto Grip lineup. The Halo Pearl is actually a beautiful looking piece. Not to be underestimated is shelf appeal. Familiar formula, we have really enjoyed putting those huge cores into clean angular covers. As you would expect, the Halo Pearl gets easy length but has a smooth, heavy roll. The Halo Pearl is smooth and driving while creating enough angle. It's not as sharp off the end of the pattern the way, say, the Idle Pearl is. As the core is turning over earlier and setting a bit quicker, actually smoothing out the shape overall, and you'll see that in the test. For Jordan, our two-handed higher rev tester, the ball was simply a beast. He absolutely crushed with it. All I just described came together for a ball that just did the business for him. Clean but forgiving, just the right amount of hook set to drive through the 8-pin at the back of the deck. With misses out, it still came back to get to the pocket. On misses in, it was a 6-pin instead of some kind of nasty leave. It really opened up the pocket to make him feel comfortable. Versus the Idle Pearl, the Idle Pearl covers a touch less boards but is noticeably more angular. It was a touch, I would say, more over-under for Jordan. And when comparing to the No Rules Pearl, the Halo Pearl is more ball overall. The No Rules Pearl is a bit smoother even, almost looking a touch lazy compared to the Halo Pearl down lane. I'm up next, and for me, I really like the shape of the Halo Pearl. I mean, you can see the way the ball's driving through the pins. I did have to get in a bit, but also pull my breakpoint in, as our house shot is just a bit too clean to bounce from the outside, at least for my rev rate. And while watching back, I realized I think I just left about every back row pin, but a few times I went through the spot that you'll see. It's fundamentally due to the shape of the pattern. With this clean cover, I can open up the angles, but I just can't bounce off the outside friction because it's just simply too slick. Nevertheless, when I pulled my breakpoint in and I had the right trajectory, I really had a good look. It was pretty clear that I had more miss room in than out. The Idle Pearl is maybe a board, less ball overall, but definitely more angular. You could see on the same line go right through the face. Once I made the adjustment, you can see how continuous the Idle Pearl is and angular through the pins. They're very interesting complements in shape delta while using identical cover stock. Bryan was next, and he was pretty wowed by the ball reaction. We've seen this before, but where Bryan doesn't always get on with every clean Pearl sim, he really enjoyed the Halo Pearl. He can play close to the friction, get good length, but a strong driving motion. And reaction off of that friction. It was very clear to see the down lane motion of that rolly core, which had a defined move. The bottom line is he had good reaction and forgiveness. Similar to Jordan, he could miss in or out. Not surprisingly, the Idle Pearl looked good, being a touch cleaner and rounder down lane. For the sport shot, we tested on a 39-foot bear pattern. For Jordan, he again had a good look and forgiveness. It's still a strong ball, but with the added back end, of the sport pattern, he had missed room out. Due to the angularity, the idle pearl was actually appeared stronger, and it forced him in even further, creating some over-under or loss of forgiveness. For me, I really like the smoothness for a pearl. Pearl ASIMs have been pretty effective for me on sport patterns as they give me reliable motion that still drives. With the idle pearl, I also found it appearing stronger and more angular in this pattern as it stored more energy and came off the spot harder. Bottom line is forgiveness was out with the idle pearl versus in with the halo pearl. Bryan found it a little trickier with the halo pearl as it was actually a bit too angular for him on the sport pattern. He liked that it's shaped strongly, but the pattern is just too hot down lane, so he had some difficulty finding the pocket. Final thoughts. Ultimately, it appears Roto Grip has succeeded the Pearl ASIM slot very well with the Halo Pearl. It offers something for each style bowler, no matter if you're a two-hander, tweener, or stroker. We all like the shape. Jordan and Bryan had very good room on the house shot. I had very good forgiveness on the sport shot. Time will tell if this will make my personal long-term bag, but it's definitely going to get a hard look.
Happy to tell you the one Tamer Elbaga reviews.